is a rainfall simulation. So what we're going to see is how much runoff we get from each of these different, I guess we'll call them environments, and then how much water is actually going to infiltrate and the sediment that it's going to carry with it. But one of the neat things that I'd like to mention is that these three middle soils they're actually from the same farm. So this is from a set of woods that's never been touched in the last 70 years by a logger. The only thing, it's just been used for hunting. Occasionally they'll cut firewood, but for the most part, no human disturbance. This is what we'll kindly call reduced tillage soybeans. So as corn the previous year, I took this between the row of soybeans. And this, the one second there from the left, that one's going to be from a conventional tilled cornfield. So this was hit last fall with a chisel plow. This spring they went across it with a disc, and then field cultivator with a basket. It's really been pulverized. And this right here it's from this cover crop plot right here. It's not the greatest stand. It's really kind of hard to get these in there. And this is from a grass pasture. It's been in pasture for quite a while. But just to echo what Nathan was talking about, is that there's a broken cycle. In nature, nobody's there to go dump fertilizer on the trees every year. You've got the soil bacteria, the soil's alive. There's not a piece of iron going through it. I know we like the smell of freshly turned dirt. I do too, and I've done disking, I've done plowing, I rototill, whatever. Nobody's perfect, but there's a broken system. The cycle's broken somewhere, so you gotta repair the soil. So somehow this conventionally tilled cornfield, if you try hard enough, you really set your mind to it, we can get back to this. Maybe not trees. I guess if you wanted to grow trees and sell timber, good for you, but build our organic matter back up. There's a lot of nutrients that people have indicated that are bound in the soil that are unavailable to the plant. The bacteria is not doing so good. Somebody's always told me, go dig in the fence line and see what that soil looks like out over there. But we're going to go ahead and run this. We got a power inverter on the truck. We're going to run the pump on the sprayer here to get some water out on this, and we'll see what we find. There's a switch out.
Just around, Jay. There you go.
That's the one player right there.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we're going to run this to about how much?
Try to get an inch of rain. Maybe 2 inch, right? We're going to have a 2 inch rainfall?
Actually, that sounds
Maybe more.
really
We need
nice.
to turn it more.
A little bit, maybe. Not enough water pressure.
The little pump is trying.
Yeah.
Looks like the middle one's starting to get muddy.
Yep.
Really muddy.
See the water just running off.
That's run off the top.
cover crops are leaking.
So,
I see it's running off the end. It's just running off the end. Back, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're just trying to measure that. It is, isn't it? Yes. It is.
yeah.
Soil and water. What do we got? 2.5 here pretty soon. That'd probably be enough.
Now it's just leaking.
I tell you guys an easy way if you guys want to figure out how much biological activity you got in your soil. Go to the dollar store and buy you a couple pair of 100% cotton underwear. Take them out and bury them.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Bury them in a cover crop field, and if you got a conventionally tilled or your neighbor's conventionally tilled field, take them out there and put them in the ground for 45 days and dig them up and see what you got. It's pretty amazing the differences you'll see. My kids absolutely love that. You can look it up on YouTube.
So this isn't a perfect model. It's really my first time collecting these. So we've got some preferential flow going around the outside edge and the edge of the pan. But as far as a demonstration goes, I think that it proves a pretty good point. So let's look at the conventional tilled cornfield right there. I don't know if you guys were watching it, but I saw it and I thought something was wrong at first, and really there is something wrong, but it's not us, it's the soil. If you look underneath this one, look how much mud has ran down that plastic panel. And in all truth, this field, I know where this farm is at, I know the people who farm it, and it was planted in April, okay? The day it was planted, I mean, you thought, okay, this looks beautiful. You know, you could see right where the planter ran, looked just like a typical cornfield, something you'd see in a book. Well, at night we had 3 inches of rain, and you ought to see the mud that ran all over the road. The county had to come dig the ditch out. I'm serious, there was that much sediment ran off. And at the price of land today, how you can afford to lose that much topsoil. And somebody told me once, they said the best soil is the soil that washes away first. That's all your fine organic matter, all the good stuff is getting washed away. And especially if they went out and spread dry fertilizer the day before they planted it, that stuff's all down the Mississippi River right now. It's probably beyond. It's probably making a algal bloom in the Gulf of Mexico. But some of these other ones, like I said, this isn't perfect, but if you look how much is infiltrating, so we talk about the fibrous roots and the tap roots, and it's allowing the water to pass down through the soil. You want to have infiltration, you don't want it to run off. So just look down the way here, and the two that have nothing in the runoff, the forest, even with no cover, there wasn't any grass. I mean, on the outside edges of the woods, there's some grass growing, maybe some honeysuckle starting, but nothing ran off the forest floor, even with no cover. It all went down through there, and the grass even more. It's the soil's soaking it up, but the grass is allowing it to percolate down through. Cover crop, I think we could have done better if I took a better sample, but you get the point. The reduced till field, a little less runoff, a little more infiltration than the conventional till, but just, and look how much sediment has collected down here at the edge of the pan. I mean, look at that. It's amazing, but it's in a bad way. Yeah.
So one of the things we look at is that you do tillage to aerate the soil and get more soil. The water should go into the soil, right? Because we can see here that there was no, it all ran off, right? Nothing ran through. You can see that. Take the pan, pick it up. So it's not muddy at all, right? It's just the same condition as the top was before we started. So, should have done a little recreational tillage beforehand.
Right. And in that cornfield right now is hurting for water, and you wonder why? Because every time we get a rain, it runs right off. Even with tile. I mean, that's a tiled farm, and it's hurting for water. The clay banks are burning up. I mean, it's dry enough. You could probably chop silage on it. You know, and something planted that early, you'd want it. You know, I'd want it to be more productive than that.
Should someone probably put back up the jars?
No. Different jars.
Oh,
Yeah, it fell over.
No, it's alright.
You guys can feel free to come up closer and take a look.
yeah.
Don't be bashful.
So the splash on the back of it, is that typical as well? You're getting more splash?
That's
Right.
just how much ran off. I mean, it's just that much.
Splash back here. too,
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I thought
this
you
is an
meant
indicator, right,
that.
of the erosion in a rainfall event, right? So just look at the splash, you know, where there is exposed soil, that's the impact of that water hitting the soil surface. Loosening that, which would allow it to run off. Not only that, but causing that compaction at the immediate surface as well. They have both of those actions happening.
Guys drive around in the wintertime when we have a snow on. You'll drive by a field, you know, when we got 1 or 2 inches of snow, and you'll see we've had a pretty good windstorm come through. You'll look in the ditches, and the ditches will be brown. That's all that topsoil that has blowed off too. So not only are we having water erosion, but we still, when we're tilling, we're still having wind erosion with that too.